Hi, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. It's not Friday. It's Tuesday.
Well, I'm Jen.
I am Laraine.
We are two sisters with purpose. And it's been a minute.
Been a hot, long minute.
It's been a long minute.
I don't know what happened.
I haven't seen her in so long.
I don't know what happened, but we got separated somehow.
Well, we were finishing off a season.
Yes,
so
that's true.
That season is over.
That is very
It
true.
was a beautiful season. It was a blessed season, but it is time to move along to new things.
And it is a new season, guys. It's spring.
It's still
spring is sprung.
It's still like you could still see the sky, which at 7:30 at night, like that's amazing.
Last week it was like
God.
dark and it was still miserable. Now it's like, yay.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Makes me very happy.
So we
February 24th was the last time.
Holy Toledo.
So not quite a month. Well, yeah, 3 days off.
3 days off. Yeah,
it's been a month. Oh my gosh. We usually do a weekly, and
so we didn't go anywhere fun. We didn't we don't have any great vacation details to tell you about.
Not yet.
Jen has exciting things. She did have a really exciting.
Oh, we did a show. Is that what I'm announcing? What else am I announcing?
She did.
I'm done.
Final show.
Yes, it was my final show. I did the drama club.
After how many years?
22 years. 22 years. And don't judge. We did Moana. But we took out some bad things and replaced them with hibiscus flowers. Yep. And honestly, God blessed it. All the beautiful things.
Come on.
All the beautiful parts of that story and all the beautiful nuggets. Like that was what was accentuated. And these kids have never performed before and they were loved. And the show was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And there were miracles that happened during that. And people that came to my last show that I had like 20 years ago in a show or like 7 years ago in a show. And they were just, and it was like about God, like it was like, he was glorified in that. And so, really cool. And I'm in a public school. So, right. So those things are beautiful miracles, when
I think that's cool that the fruits of your labor that you've poured in, that she's poured in for 22 years, literally, I mean, blood, sweat, tears.
Oh yeah, all of that.
Lots of that. Long hours away from her family, and sometimes you're there and you're doing these things, and you wonder, like, am I making a difference? Like, and as she said, she's in a public school, and when she gets a testimony of a student who comes back that's now an adult, like full blown adult, no more teens, and they still have something that they took from you, which was basically like
about God,
God's word in a calendar format.
Yeah.
And they share that with you.
Oh,
even if it was that one thing in those 22 years, like it's worth it. But it's more than that. That was just like God's wink to Jennifer.
Yeah, there were so many winks. He was winking like crazy. It was like he had like a twitch going on. There was like a twitch going.
He was like, wait.
And it was gentle. It was loving because he's kind, right? Yeah, and he's loving. He is love, and so he knows how to do it. Like you want to know how to love someone well, you look to God, and it was beautiful. And I cried a lot, and I laughed a lot, and there were a lot of emotions. Yeah. But even looking at my children, because they were there on the they were there a lot helping me with the scenery and stuff, but watching them help me, right. Because there's times when you're doing something like that and you're like, am I stealing time from my children? Right. Like, is it not the right thing to do? Should I not be doing this? But God never told me to go. And so I don't move unless he tells me to move. And I knew it was coming because he was giving me stuff, but it still wasn't like go now. And then things happened and it was now. Yeah. And he put beautiful people in place to take it over that love him. Yeah, and watching my children help me with the final show and being there and he just like spoke to my spirit and it was like, no, they got what they needed out of it. So I had peace.
Yeah.
I had peace. Because I remember she texted me like, it's over. How are you feeling? And I was like, I am exhausted, but my spirit is at peace.
Exactly. And that's the most important because you know then that it was exactly the right time.
And right before that happened, though, there was all kinds of like, I don't know, am I not supposed to be doing this? Like, I second guessed it. I was like, but like, I knew that he told me to do it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I was going to go back on it, but there was like a lot of turmoil. Like after I made the decision and put it into motion.
Did I hear you right? Is it the right?
Yes. Like,
am I supposed to finish?
Right. Of course. Right. And then once the show happens and I was like, no, this was it. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's time to move along. So beautiful thing. I think I announced the second book is out, The Tea Party. I don't know if I did. Gracie's Tea Party. That I don't even remember when it was published. Yeah, I don't remember. Sorry guys, but there's 2 books. Either. But there are 2. They're on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and like all the booky kind of places. The booky places. And then there's going to be a third. As of right now, it's a trilogy.
Come on.
Gracie gets a puppy. So, but they have, they have life lessons and lessons about God. Yep. Geared to elementary age school children. And so feel free if you're interested. Our Etsy shop's open.
Easter's coming. Little kids in your life. You can get like cute little books. You could put them in there. Yeah. Little if you do.
I'm gonna buy things. I'm gonna buy some gear from Etsy actually for myself. There's some good thing. I want the worship. Is my worship one? I'm going to buy that from Michael. I think. Stuff. I don't want to go into bankruptcy over it. So
I was just going to say, I'm on a freeze right now, so I can't purchase for like at least 2 weeks.
So, when my stipend comes in, I will buy one thing for me and one thing for Michael, and because I'm trying to also do the same thing. I'm not overspending. I'm not doing that. I mean, I have to save all my money for the eggs. Because I don't have my chickens yet.
And because she doesn't have chickens, eggs are a lot of money. So get chickens or pay a lot of money for eggs.
But yes, the Etsy shop and the worship is my worship.
How do you find this on the Etsy shop?
I think you just put 2 Sisters with Purpose. Okay. Let me, I'm afraid to click on another thing. But I have it open. Oh, it's 2 Sisters with Purpose 1, the number 1, but it's all one word. So number 2, the number 2, Sisters with Purpose 1, no spaces. Okay. And that's it. And then you find us there. Also, we have the link, I think, on the Clout Hub main page. Okay. So you can find us there too. But there's a lot of good, it's good quality. It's like Bella canvas. It's, it's good quality shirts. Yes. That's the difference when you go on a shop and you're looking at the prices. A lot of times you're going to find like similar to what we have, maybe a little bit cheaper. Yep. But it's because they're not choosing the quality. Exactly. Stitching. I like soft shirts. I like my skin like that. I don't want the like Gildan, like scratchy things that probably what I'm wearing right now for this gear. But I don't.
It's not like this.
It's not so. It's not. No, but my Moana shirt is
right. Oh no, that one was very.
But I was living in that, and I was like, I really need to change my. Like, I need to wear a different shirt. I can't just wear Moana all the time.
To be over Moana now.
So yeah. But yeah. So that's why it might be a few dollars more, but it's because we personally are selecting the better quality shirts. Yep. So now that you know that.
Now you know. Go shop if you'd like.
If you'd like.
If you want to buy yourself
if you're saving for chickens yourself, don't worry about it. Exactly. We're all here. We get you.
We're there too.
But today's message is a good reminder, right? So we're talking about money, right? We just spoke about money.
We're not asking
sort of with chickens. We're telling you the things we're doing, but you do not have to buy it. No. Like whatever God provides, we're good. They're just things that our heart had to pour.
We just want to go buy it, and nobody else was selling it. So
yeah, and no one else is buying it from us either. But that's okay. We're gonna buy it.
It's in the merch store, so when I want to buy it and the money's there to buy new clothes, then
because I have no desire to buy any other piece of clothing but that. Like when I think of clothing, the only thing I'm like, man, can't we talk about that shirt?
Exactly.
Like that's what I think of. I don't need to be advertising for name brands, evil companies.
I'm not a label person to begin with, and I definitely don't want to wear anybody's name on my body.
Exactly.
That aligns itself with wicked things.
Yes.
And that would be all the things that they
pretty
sell
much
in the
all
store.
the things. Yeah. So there you go. We made our own store.
Yeah. Right. I think we went totally like off, but we're new at this.
We haven't been
in a
here
while.
in a month, so it's okay. So that
Refresher.
was our little intro. But we are going to be talking. We're going to be in Luke 19 today. There's a lot in Luke 19, so we're not doing the whole thing.
Right. We're just going
to stick to one parable.
Right. And then kind of just let God go from there.
God can do what he wants.
Because there's just a lot, and it could definitely cover many aspects.
Starts in verse 12 and ends in verse 27.
Yep. Okay.
You want to read it? You want me to read it? What
sure. We were both literally going, wow, it's late. It's time for bed soon. What is wrong with us?
We didn't realize what time it was, but we haven't seen each other, so we were chatting.
So yeah. All right. So now we're really going to get to business.
All right, let's do this.
So it's actually the parable of money usage. Reading in the NASB. And it says in verse 12, so he, meaning Jesus, said, a nobleman went to a distant country to receive a kingdom for himself and then return. And he called 10 of his slaves and gave them 10 minas and said to them, do business with this until I come back. But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, we do not want this man to reign over us. When he returned after receiving the kingdom, he ordered that these slaves, to whom he had given the money, be called to him so that he might know what business they had done. The first appeared, saying, Master, your mina has made 10 times more. And he said unto him, well done, good slave, because you have been faithful in very little thing, you are to be an authority over 10 cities. The second came, saying, your mina, master, has made 5 minas. And he said to him also, and you are to be over 5 cities. Another came, saying, Master, here is your mina, which I kept put away in a handkerchief, for I was afraid of you. Because you are an exacting man, you take up what you did not lay down and reap what you did not sow. He said to him, by your own words I will judge you, you worthless slave. Did you know that I'm an exacting man, taking up what I did not lay down and reaping what I did not sow? Then why did you not put my money in the bank, and having come, I would have collected it with interest? Then he said to the bystanders, take the mina away from him and give it to the one who has the 10 minas. And they said to him, Master, he has 10 minas already. I tell you that to everyone who has, more shall be given. But from the one who does not have, even what he does have shall be taken away. But these enemies of mine, who did not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slay them in my presence. You guys probably feel all warm and fuzzy.
That was such a sweet parable.
Was a great parable to just go to sleep on.
Sweet dreams.
But if you're obedient, you'll have really sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's break that down.
Let's break it down, right? So he's given them the parable. And you have...
So he had to go away for a little while.
The guy had to, yeah. So the guy had to go away for a little while.
He had to go away for a little while, and he had a lot of things that he was responsible for.
He gave 3 people something.
Entrusted 3 people.
Trusted here. I'm trusting you. Trusting you. I'm trusting you.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 did something with it, and 1 didn't. And did you notice the one who didn't do anything with it did a lot of speculation? So instead of working with what he had, he was busy coming up with stories in his head about all the bad and scary things that the guy was. He didn't use his time wisely.
No.
He was busy making up stories, speculating, creating chaos and fear. And just causing a ruckus in his mind and probably to people around him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the first 2 were busy.
Yep.
And he says,
wise.
And he says, occupy. Yours, I put it in King James Version just to get the 2 different ones. He says, He said to them, occupy till I come. Interesting. So, and yours is business, right? It says, do business with this until I come back. So, occupy, we've learned, is a military term. And it is business.
It is business.
You're told to do something. Those soldiers are working.
That's right.
You go.
And each one is working in different facets. Who's guarding, who's, strategizing.
Who's on the medical team.
Exactly.
Who's flying the plane. Everyone has been given a job, just as all of us have been given certain gifts and talents. And so not one person on this earth is without a gift and talent. Now, do they recognize God with that gift and talent? No, not everybody does. Are they aware of it? No, not everybody is. But that doesn't make it not true. Everybody has some sort of gift and talent that God has breathed into them.
That's right. That's right. And if you're sitting there saying that you don't, it's because you're just in a bad spot right now and you're not able to take off those cloudy glasses of doom and gloom
or insecurity or whatever it is.
And just stop to think of like the time before this when you were happy and you had clarity. Like, what was that thing that you were passionate about doing?
And maybe you have to go back to childhood to find it.
You might. You might.
That's
because
okay.
It could have been a dream that was put in your heart that was stolen, and you forgot about it. But I truly believe that if you go to the Lord and you say, like, Lord, what was it that you put in me when you birthed me to come into this world? Because each one of us has an assignment. It's a purpose, but it's also an assignment.
It is.
And I'm learning that it's really awesome because in that assignment, we get to partner with God. It's not our own assignments, although we make our own assignments and we get busy ourselves a lot. But God's has given us gifts and talents, and he's given each one of us measures of those things. And he has an expectation, especially when you're a child of God, that we do something with those things, not for ourselves, for someone else. Because that's the occupying that I always feel like it's occupying to gain territory for his kingdom.
It's for him.
But the territory is people's souls.
Right. And so occupy until I come. It is a military term. Yes, you are going and you are gaining territory. What is that territory? Don't go crazy with like, I need to travel, and because some people do.
Right.
Okay. But your sphere of influence is your territory. Start there. Might just start out in your household. Might, grow to maybe your place of business. I don't know. Everyone has their own sphere.
It's different.
But
it could be your mom's club that you're a part of.
Like, it could be anything.
Anything. But what's sad is we all have spheres, and I could say this from experience. There were times I was not effective in my sphere. Because I felt that I didn't have what it took, or maybe I didn't know enough, and I was afraid of what the people around me might think of me.
But based on the parable, when you have that fear, you have to push that aside, because when you look at the parable, the one who was afraid buried that, and it made the master angry. It made the father disappointed. Why? I gave you all of this. Can you imagine if you saw someone who was, and I'm sure this happens. You see someone who's homeless and they're on the street, and maybe they have some mental things, or they came back from the war. Like, there's so many reasons, right? And you go to help them. And maybe they think they have no option left. And something happens, and then you turn around and find out that they were probably a millionaire. I know that there's people that
so many
definitely.
Stories.
And they had everything they needed to not be like that. But they didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't find themselves worthy to get up and try, you know? And so there's a whole lot to that. Like I'm not talking, it's just just a hypothetical situation, but it can happen. And so if we're not taking the things that God gifted us with and even trying, just try. Exactly. And I know that I do projects with my students in video production, and I'm like, you could just show me how to do something. And they look at me, they're like, what am I going to show you to do? I don't know how to do anything. And I'm like, no, but here's the thing. You may know something that I don't know.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how to skateboard.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Show me how to ride a skateboard. I had a student teach me how to bake bread once. I had a student whose family makes wine. They showed me how they do the whole press with the wine. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you have something that I don't have. Right. And it's doing a disservice to me if you don't share it with me. Exactly. I want to know.
You're discounting what you think is ordinary and simple rather than saying, no, actually, this isn't simple for everybody. Now I get to pour into somebody something they don't know. So it's kind of like, you could either give a guy fish or you could teach him how to fish, right? So, and if you're teaching him how to fish, then that's the territory he can take over now. And with those fish, he can be like, hey, now I'm going to go into my community and give people fish. So these are just little quirky kind of silly stories, but
ripple effect.
It is the ripple effect.
There is a ripple effect. Yes. You help someone, then they go and help someone, and it goes on and on.
Yep.
And that is why this parable exists. He wants us to do that. He wants us to take what he's given us and multiply it. And if we are sitting around waiting for someone else to do it, we are going to be a skeleton.
Yes.
And we're going to be the ground.
A wicked, what did he call him?
A wicked slave?
Well, in mine, it was a wicked slave. So, you can be like, well, I'm shy. I don't feel like like, you're not. Like, something happened that made you that way. And it was definitely, a lie. It was probably spoken because the enemy knew that it would derail you from walking in the assignment.
Or someone spoke something over you to take away your confidence in it. Or, we've said this before. Look at a picture of yourself when you're little. And then figure it out. Because that happens a lot of times. Like, if you think something negative about yourself, try to say it to that picture of you when you were little. Because usually the truth will come out. It's one of those great things that God reveals when that. Because you can't do that to your baby self.
No, you can't.
You look at that cute little baby and you're like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Don't hurt baby me.
That's true.
That's really not okay.
Wow. That's huge. That's really important to do, because that's the key that sets us free, is being able to go back to a particular time. And this might be getting off of occupying, but we're not going to be able to occupy unless we deal with things.
Yes.
Okay, because then you're not going to really know, like, which battalion am I in? It's a military term. So, like, what's my squad? Where am I supposed to be?
I lost my unit.
Exactly. So it's usually because somebody came and stole it from you.
Yeah.
When traumatic things happen that could come in and try to steal or derail us from our destiny or our purpose, we need to go back to that particular situation.
Yes.
And most of the time we know, if we're being honest with ourselves, it could be like, a teacher was like, you're a terrible reader. And then you always had a problem reading.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case. But we need to go back to that situation, because in that moment, something traumatic happened.
Yes.
To that little person inside of you. There was a little fracture that occurred in that little child that needs to be dealt with, because it's another form of soul tie.
Yes. Let Jesus sew it up.
Exactly. People think it's only like sexual intimacy.
No.
Soul ties are anywhere that there was trauma based.
Yes.
And now it's hindering us from walking in God's fullness for us. So I love take your little self, your little boy or girl self.
And
and then take your adult self with you too.
Yes.
Both of them with Jesus.
Yeah. We're having a meeting.
And then go get the person, whoever it was that caused the trauma. I don't know if it was a teacher, if it was one of your parents, if it was a boyfriend or girlfriend. Bring them into the meeting.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have a meeting and we're going to expose what happens here with Jesus there. And then that thing will be taken care of and broken and over. And then the freedom comes.
Nailed to the cross.
But if we don't deal with that, it's going to hinder us. Yes. If we think we don't have any, then we're self-deceived.
Well, that's a deception because everybody has something.
Everybody.
And just like everyone has gifts and talents.
And if you don't have something right now, you'll probably have something within a week. Like, because these are things that you constantly always have to be doing and being aware of, because everything the enemy does is to stop us from bringing the kingdom of heaven.
He steals, he kills, he destroys. And we know that God brings life and life more abundantly. So if he tells us to occupy and he tells us he's giving us gifts and talents, then he gave us our marching orders already.
Yes, he did. Occupy until I come.
All in the word. It's all there.
Yep.
Stop focusing on all the extra things. Yep. If you don't have time for all of it, just focus on it.
And here's the other thing, because I'm feeling like somebody's like, well, I don't go anywhere. Who am I seeing? I don't know. If you watch, I don't know, a news program, which you shouldn't, but if on that news program, they're talking a whole lot of evil, wicked smack, occupy, pray, and start to take authority, because as a child of God, you have authority. Mm-hmm. As a child of God, you have the authority to occupy, because that's what the commander told us to do. Yeah. So take authority wherever you are. And it's not name it, claim it, all this stuff. Mm-mm. It's your words, and you are a child of God.
Yes.
We have to become more serious about understanding what it means to be a child of the Most High God, what it means to be in the army of God, what it means to walk in power and authority. Otherwise, you don't know how to occupy if you don't know you have.
And we need to spend more time doing that than worrying about what each denomination believes and where they're at and who, you don't go to a church building, you're in a backslidden state. Like, we got to stop with all of that. Just get back to basics.
Mm-hmm. Get back to occupying wherever God has you.
Yeah.
And instead of, you should, what we need to do is stop shoulding people. Mm-hmm. If anything, God will tell them.
God will tell them.
We have to stop bringing our opinions into things and just go to his word.
Yes.
We also have to realize that his word, there's a lot more to it than what we contain in the books that we have. Mm-hmm. That it's also going to his word, which is Jesus, a man. He's the word made flesh. Mm-hmm. The word's a lot of things, but what we have to do is understand that God said, I'm giving you all these things because I don't want you to go out there with no tools, no weapons. We have the armor. We talk about that. Yes. You have an armor because you're occupying, because you're in the military.
Yes.
And a lot of these things don't make sense in the natural, because you're like, well, no, how am I putting on all this stuff? And what am I doing? There's situations everywhere. There's situations at home with our children. There's situations that happen in neighborhoods. I know my daughter called last week. She's like, oh my God, there's police down the street. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? What do you mean? Oh, that's right. She's like, I could pray. She's occupying.
Yes, exactly.
That's occupying.
And we're learning as we go through life.
And that's the best part of it.
Thank God we're learning.
If we weren't learning and just going, well, this one said, so we have to believe that.
Yeah.
That's not learning. That's being brainwashed. Mm-hmm. That's following. It's usually like you're following the masses, and most of the time the M is silent. It's like, oh, but everybody was doing it, and they all, that should have been your first key right there.
Exactly.
It's exciting, I think, to be in an army that you can't see.
Yeah.
But
you hear the leader.
You hear the victory sound.
You hear the victory.
You realize, like,
he gave you the end of the story.
He gave you the end, and he already said you win.
You already know.
He already said that the enemy is under your feet. So don't let him stop you.
Right.
He's defeated. Like, we already have the victory.
Amen.
We have to continue to lift each other up.
Yeah. And not saying it's easy, because I mean, we're coming out of a winter, and let me tell you, it's exhausting.
Dark winter.
Again, dang it.
Dark winter.
And
it's not easy.
It's not easy, but I'll tell you, just like a real life example. You see someone walking, I don't know, down the hallway at work or down the street, or maybe someone you know, right? And you're just like, you don't really have time for a long conversation. Just, hey, how you doing? And the Holy Spirit's like, that's something's not right. Okay. And they already walked away. It already happened. Okay. Well, guess what? Oh, something's not right. Yep. I don't know what it is. I'm going to battle for them.
Yep.
And you pray for them.
Yep.
And they don't need to know that you did that. It's not, you're just, Lord, I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
But I know that I care about that person, and something's off. Absolutely. I don't know what it is, but I care about them. So Lord, thank you for surrounding them with your presence and your love. Thank you for giving them clarity in whatever they're dealing with. Like, that is occupying. That is occupying.
You're doing something. You're taking up space in a good way. You're filling it with the power of God.
Yes. And You're
filling it with the power of God.
It's so easy to be zombie apocalypse. Like, okay, take that same person and you see them walking down and you, oh, hey, whatever. And you have the thought like, they don't look right. I wonder what's going on with them. Do you think they're doing something wrong?
Okay, let me go ask.
Ooh, let me go ask so-and-so. Maybe they know what's going on. Do you see the difference? There's the difference. Real life example. You don't need to know what's going on. You don't need to discuss it with another person unless Jesus says you need to talk to them, because that's biblical. You go to the person, right? So, but you don't, if God doesn't tell you to do that, just pray for them.
Exactly.
Occupying. That is occupying, guys.
Exactly.
It can be as simple as that.
It's so simple. We complicate it.
Yes, we complicate it.
If you're sitting there right now and God puts something on your heart, occupy that space. Occupy that time. Start to ask him questions. Be like, all right, Lord, do you want to show me more, or should I just
start praying?
Pray.
Yeah. And sometimes you might just turn up worship music for that person.
There's times I'm just like, Lord, I thank you for this person. And I thank you that whatever they need your blood. And I don't know how to pray for them. So I just start thanking God for the things that I could think of in the natural.
And that's it.
And then I always will go to my default, which is praying in the Spirit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to pray.
And if God wants you to contact them, he'll tell you to contact them. And then you can call and say, you know what? You were in my heart.
Exactly.
I just want to let you know I prayed for you today. You don't have to share anything, but I care about you.
Yeah.
I was thinking of you.
But most of the time, the people I'm praying for, I have no idea I'm praying for them.
Exactly.
Most of the time. And honestly, the only time that they do is if we're talking and I'm like, you want me to pray for you? Or let's pray about that. Or if I'm like, can we pray?
Yeah.
That's when someone knows. Yeah. Otherwise, and I think Jen's the same way. Like, no, that's between me and God.
Yes. And people know that they can do that. That they can just come to me and I don't have to know the situation.
No.
They want to tell me, it's fine. I don't have to know. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
That doesn't matter.
Yep.
God knows.
Exactly.
And I'm not God. I'm not trying to be God. I don't want them relying on me. If they come to me, they just want me to pray with them because to an agreement. Yeah. Right. So, and we know he's there. So we got to get out of our own way.
And the two in agreement is awesome because even if there's no one around
that's
you,
me and Jesus.
It's me and Jesus.
Yeah, that's it.
Because the kingdom of heaven is within us.
Yes.
Right. When we were born again, we were sealed with the kingdom of heaven. So like we need to just start walking in that kingdom power, that kingdom authority. What does that look like? To me, it's exciting. I'm like, oh, you tell me like that I could partner even more with God. I'm like, that's like, and we have victory. So I don't have to do it like, oh my God. Right. Even though I'm going to be that way sometimes. I'm going to be like, I don't want to, this is tiring.
But
and it's
I like
exhausting.
to rejoice.
Yes.
I don't always want to be sad.
No, I don't like to be sad.
Like,
I don't.
There's a time and a place,
There is. And the place for sad, I like it to be like really, really, really small. It makes me feel crappy.
It's fine, whatever it is, but it's just,
if I have to process and be
sad, I want to be able to be whatever I am.
Right.
I don't want to put on shows for
No,
anybody. I don't want to have to put on a mask for anybody. Just
no.
That's it.
We don't know.
So, all right. Well, let's occupy then.
Let's occupy. I'm gonna definitely go occupy with some prayers.
I'm gonna occupy with some food
as
first.
I go to sleep and have a prayer nap.
I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna stop at the place.
I'm gonna go occupy my stomach.
Food.
That's right. I did say I was gonna.
Yeah, I need food first.
So yeah, you guys go occupy. If this was kind of wonky and all off,
sorry, we're back on the.
Give
saddle.
us some grace. We're getting right back into things and. Yeah.
Oh my
we'll be back.
But it was nice to be back. It was nice to be back.
It was nice to be back.
We
definitely have to do these things earlier.
Definitely.
Because I start to fade out.
I know.
Really,
yeah.
I'm like,
it's like bedtime now.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We spent our evening with you and it was lovely. So we will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Remember, you have a purpose.
Bye.
Mwah.